driving a C6 Z06 for the very first time. How does it compare to my base C6 that I own? Is it worth the upgrade? Is it the best Corvette ever? Is it the best sports car ever? We're gonna find out. Hold on. Welcome to Retro Cars Forever. My name is Brad, and regular viewers are going to be pretty familiar with my 2007 Corvette, which has been a joy to own. It's loaded with every feature imaginable, including the sporty Z51 performance package. But at the end of the day, it's just a simple base Corvette. So today, we're looking at its meaner big brother, the Z06. Under the hood, it's packing one more liter of displacement over my car, which helps the Z06 churn out an extra 105 horsepower for 505 in total. To put it simply, if my base car is rock and roll, then the Z06 is heavy metal, even if the Z06 actually weighs a little less, thanks to an aluminum frame over the base car steel frame and other weight-saving measures. Though I've always dreamt about it, I've never actually driven a C6 Z06. But that changes today, thanks to my friend Eric, who just bought this sweet atomic orange example. Eric is a fellow automotive YouTuber with his channel RevMatchTV, a great resource for enthusiasts. And he's been awesome enough to hand me the keys to his Z06 for this canyon carving review. Okay, here we go. Dream car drive. This is a heck of an honor to drive one of these cars, because for me, in the all-stars of Corvettedom, it's like the 63 Stingray split window coupe, the C4 ZR1, and then to me, you got the Z6 Z06. This is an amazing example. It's got 27,000 miles. It's a 2008. It is bone stock. Yeah, let's see how it measures up to my car. So the first thing I noticed right away is the shifter feel. All C6s got different shifters starting in 2008. Boy, is it better. Easy to heel and tow. Now, as far as the Z06 goes, well, we got wider tires, sportier suspension, and that big honkin' V8, man. This was the return of the 427. 7 liters of American Fury. Let's see how it sounds. It's smooth. I expected it to be like some really crazy, raucous, like out of control. No, it's smooth, it's fast. And it loves to rev too. This is not one of those big lethargic dinosaur V8s of America's past. This sucker revs all the way to redline at 7,000 RPM. There's no flat spots in the power delivery either. Any RPM, you just goose the gas, if you're in the right gear, and off you go! Woohoo! Whoa! Woo! Yeah, 505 horsepower will do that. It is a lot crisper on the turns and flatter. I have some monkey motion in my car. My car's in the Z51, but it's got a little more like monkey motion. It kind of wants to skirt around a bit, but this wider track, the wider tires, I feel like I can go like 15% faster. Now, okay, big negative I'm already saying is these seats. So this particular Z06 does not have the adjustable side bolsters like my car, because my car is like a top level car. This is a mid-level car, you can't adjust them. And because of that, I'm sliding around quite a bit in the corners, unfortunately. A base car, you don't need super crazy seats. A lot of people buying base Corvettes, they're just driving the car to cruise down to get some ice cream. You know, they're senior citizens. Flat seats are fine. But a hardcore sports car like the Z06 deserved much better seats with much more aggressive bolstering. Okay, so the steering feel is another thing that all Corvettes got upgraded in 2008. The steering feel is probably the worst thing in my car. It's 2007. because it just feels kind of numb. It's overly boosted at low speed. It's not boosted enough at high speed. Just kind of feels like you're fighting the car. This is a big improvement in steering feel. It's still not Porsche good, but it is a big improvement, as is the shifter. The clutch take-up is actually reasonably light. It's not this heavy, hard-to-drive beast. Now, I'm sure if I was going at 10/10 crazy speed, this might be a little hairy. I could see that. But, you know, for driving around at 8/10 speed, 7/10 speed, what you should be doing on a canyon road, this is a delight. Let's test the brakes, shall we? In 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you know how in those Tex Avery cartoons you have the wolf and the wolf sees an attractive lady and the eyes kind of go beep? That's what it's like to brake in this car. They are serious brakes. Let's do our pull. Yeah! Go America! Now, as far as like, what would this be like to drive every day? Because my C6 is a daily driver, and it actually is a very, very good daily driver. Could you drive this every day? You could. It would not be quite as good. Those wider tires have a lot more road noise that I'm hearing. The ride isn't as bad as I thought it would be, actually. It's a reasonably good ride. The front splitter might be a little bit trickier in like parking lots. You're definitely gonna whack that a lot easier than you would on my car. This makes my car kind of feel like a Lexus. A little bit disconnected, not as quick, a little bit smoother, a little bit easier, softer. This car is much more fun as a weekend driver, as a canyon carver. Let's turn around. Oh, it's fun. As a guy who loves NASCAR, this is kind of like a NASCAR for the street, right? It's raw, it's light. But you could daily this car. You could drive it on long trips. You got a huge trunk. There's so much room in the back, which is crazy for a 500 horsepower 7-liter machine. So is this the best Corvette ever? Man, it's right up there. I've driven a C7 Corvette. I think that's probably the most polished driving experience. But the C7, you feel like you're kind of in a bunker. It's less tossable. It's more of this kind of big, heavy machine, but it's very, very polished. This is like just unpolished enough to be a little fun, a little naughty. But still, the bugs that the earlier C6s had, the numb steering, the chunky transmission, this is like great. The 505 horsepower is not unmanageable. It's well suited for the car and the chassis. Everything works in harmony in a way that very few American cars get right. And it's more fun than the C8 because the C8's like so ridiculously fast. You can't even like approach its limits on a public road like this. So as far as the most fun Corvette, yeah. And it's actually not even that ridiculously expensive. This one is like mint, and it's worth somewhere around like 45. You could find a rough one for like 30 grand. 30 grand's about what a really nice base car like mine would cost. Now here's a bigger question. Is this the best sports car ever made? If you like big power, it's hard to beat. But I will say that as far as all-around sports car-ness, I still think the Porsche Boxster S, the Cayman from this era, it's a little bit more polished in the steering feel and the shifter feel. But this ain't far off, and if you're like me and you got those NASCAR fantasies and you want to have a big-ass V8 and that attitude, this could be the best sports car for you. Okay, now that the adrenaline has worn off a bit, I can tell you my final thoughts on the Z06. Okay, so it does have a few flaws. While the seats are comfortable, they don't give you the bear hug you need for the high-speed cornering that this car was built for. At bare minimum, it needs the adjustable side bolsters that my car has. But unfortunately, that option was only available in the Z06 starting in 2010. A much bigger negative is purchase price. When compared to the base car, the Z06 upgrade will cost you an extra 10 or 15 grand. While that investment does get you extra speed, most owners won't really notice the difference unless they wind their car out on a racetrack or canyon road, so the Z06 upgrade is gonna be overkill for most people. Keep in mind, if you love the Z06's aggressive style, but don't need that extreme level of performance, you're gonna be happier with the 2010 to 2013 Grand Sport instead, which is more livable and more affordable. And the Z06 will cost you extra at the pumps too. That big 7-liter V8 will guzzle a few extra gallons of premium for every mile you drive. While that's decent everyday economy for such a beastly engine, it gets thirsty when you play with it. The fuel mileage during our canyon romp probably wouldn't thrill Greta Thunberg either.
How dare you!
There's also that slightly annoying common issue of the exploding Z06 engine where it likes to drop exhaust valves without warning. But shell out an extra few grand or so for a reputable shop to fix this before it rears its ugly head, and it won't be an issue. Now, even if I had the extra dough to own a Z06, as someone who loves open-air motoring, I'd be saddened that I can never remove the targa top like I can with my car. That's because the Z06 top is fixed in place for extra stiffness, although I suppose I could find some creative ways to skirt around that minor issue. But for sheer automotive enjoyment, the Z06 is tough to beat. It's the last truly analog Super Corvette, and the last with truly classic Corvette style. Man, I wish the Vette would go back to round taillights again. Who's with me on this? For me, the biggest surprise is how well the Z06 drives. I expected it to be some scary monster, but it's actually a friendly pussycat. It's fast as hell, but with a direct and balanced feel that makes it the most fun car I've ever driven. Truly, the stuff that dreams are made of. So, those are my thoughts. Now let's hear from you in the comments below. If you've driven a Z06, how did you feel about it? Do you think the C6 Z06 is the best Vette ever? Let me know. I read and respond to every comment I get. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon for more Retro Cars Forever coming to you soon. Special thanks to Eric at RevMatchTV for letting me review his car and for his help with filming. Make sure to check out his channel RevMatchTV for more. Thank you for watching, and remember, if you have a fun car, get out there and drive.